It's real breakfast hours. Eat breakfast to view up. Today's breakfast is...
We've been on an Eggo grind set this past few weeks, so we did, in fact, both have Eggos again today.
And I had some sausage with mine.
Welcome back.
To real breakfast hours. What number are we on now?
I just told you this.
15. I know, but I think it was 15. I just wanted to be sure.
It is 15.
You know what? Throw up a hand. Bang. I'm not doing this wacky finger nonsense anymore. We really need to get that whiteboard. That's it's on the to-do list.
Okay.
For sure.
For sure. Well, who would have thought we'd make it here?
Me.
Yeah.
I did.
Still at 90 subscribers, unfortunately. But
Getting bamboozled by the subscriber count.
we'll get there eventually. I think I just gotta make more short form content to pull them in, and then they'll watch the hour-long content.
It's true. It is hard to sell people on, yeah, all I do is post hour-long videos. Come watch them. It's a little tough.
So, we'll see. I did film one that was shorter a few days ago, but I haven't had a chance to edit it, and I guess I probably won't have a chance to edit it for like another week, but that's okay.
We've been very busy.
We have a lot to talk about today, I feel like.
So true.
So many things that have happened. So I guess let's just hop right into it. Did you want to talk about what we did last week first?
Sure, but let me get this out of the way nice and early,
okay.
because we spoke with my one of our longtime viewers, my grandmother, and she said the only part of the show that she doesn't like is the sports section. So we'll keep that nice and short this time around. The Celtics got knocked out of the NBA playoffs. You're never going to guess this. In Game 7 by a Florida team. Wow, just like the Bruins. I'm quite upset. So we're not even gonna talk about sports anymore than that. Just know that I'm unhappy. Okay.
The depression.
Yeah.
The what do we call it? Punished Mike.
Punished Mike. Yeah, I'm having. You could call this a depressive episode of Boston team pain, but you know what? That's okay. Let's move on.
Okay.
Where have we been? Right, because we didn't upload last week.
See, okay, I wanted to, and then things got crazy. We didn't film.
The schedule didn't work out, right?
It could have, but that's okay. We were at my parents' camp, and
if you're not from Maine,
yes.
It's a little house on the lake, which, yes, is a lake house, but it's not like expensive or huge or anything like that. It's just a little house,
a little cottage,
on a lake.
Yep.
But everybody in Maine just calls that camp, which I'm not originally from Maine. So one time she was like, "Oh, my parents went up to camp," and I was like, "Oh, like what campground?" And she was like, "No, it doesn't work that way." I'm like, what? So I was confused, right?
Yeah. It's up to camp in Maine, and if you're from Maine, you know, and if you're not from Maine, you probably are like, what the heck? But I don't know. That's just another Maine-ism, I guess.
Yeah.
We have a lot of those here. But also, I think maybe I have some pictures, but what's another Maine-ism that we enjoyed while we were there?
The red hot dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, the red hot dogs were good. We were roasting weenies over the fire. We have a bunch of pictures. I don't know. Maybe we'll edit a couple of them in. But, let's see. Why don't we just take it from the top?
Okay.
So,
terrifying night drive up to
northern
Maine.
5 or 6, I think it's 6 hours away from where we live. All the way up in the rear end of Maine, in the very tip, literally 15 minutes from the border with Canada. And we went after I got home from work on Friday. So, worked all day, got home, ate dinner, or maybe we had McDonald's or something. I don't even remember.
We had McDonald's.
Yeah. Got in the car and then drove for 6 hours, pretty much in a straight line. We got on the highway, and Siri goes, "For 187 miles, keep straight." I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah, she really hit us with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't skip this.
Thank you.
You shouldn't have said Siri.
But you know what? We can keep that in because that was kind of funny.
Yeah, so how often does it tell you, are you driving somewhere and it tells you to stay on the same road for that long?
For 200 miles.
Not very often, because even when we go far distances going south, you know, it's always like, oh, take this exit and then get on
it's switching
a different
on highways,
thing.
but not this time.
Nope.
Yeah, so that again, took us several hours, and it was dark for a majority of it, or at least half, because it's June now, but it was the end of May at the time. But the sun is going down pretty late now.
But
At least
still
getting
not
there.
the latest it's gonna get, right?
Yeah, right. It'll.
So-
What is it? June 21st or July 21st?
June 21st.
June 21st.
But that's okay. Well, it was pretty scary sometimes because once you get far enough, I mean, first of all, you get up a few, like 4 hours from where we are, the highway ends, and you have to get on like a Route 1 or whatever. And so you're like, it was fine on the highway because you're like, oh, whatever, highway driving. And then you get on like these random well, not really back roads, I guess, because it is still like the
It's like
Route
a
1.
local main road and not the highway. But the biggest.
It's not a local main road because it's Route 1. That goes all the way down to Florida.
Well, then why is it not the highway?
Because it's Route 1 and not the highway. It's not I-95 where you're going 75.
It's not an interstate.
It's Route 1 where you're going like 55.
Yeah.
And then sometimes 30 because it goes through towns.
Yes, it does. People live on that road. But the biggest issue, I would say, with all this is that, one, it's very dark. It was very dark. We got there at like 12:30 when we finally got out of the car and went to bed. So it was a few hours of driving in pitch black because there's very little street lights out there. And there's moose crossing everywhere. Every couple of miles, you'd see a sign that's like, next 15 miles, moose. So
Sounds like a freaking Welcome to Night Vale thing.
in the next 15 miles, moose. Welcome to Night Vale.
And we got up to a certain point where, like, and I've never seen this before. I've seen moose signs before because we've been up like a little bit far enough north to have those. Like our school that we went to, UMaine, like in Orono, technically there could be moose around there, so you'll sometimes see moose signs out there. But we were so far into the boonies that they had flashing signs, like signs that had flashing lights on top. And normally, a sign that has flashing lights on top, like, yes, it's like, oh, be cautious, extra cautious, but also, like, for train stuff, it's like, oh, the train's coming. So it just, in your mind, it just makes you, like, even though if logically you know, it doesn't mean that there's a moose there, it just, like, subconsciously makes you think, oh, there's a moose ahead.
It's like, careful, the moose is crossing right now. Like, oh God. And you can't see, and there's trees everywhere, and then you just have this bright flashing yellow sign, there is a moose in the road, even though there isn't. And then,
Just telling you to watch out.
yeah, not only that, but then we see the flashing moose sign, like, oh, that's unsettling. And then immediately after that, there was a sign of what looked to be a man with like one leg out and his hands up like this. Like, he literally looked like a zombie. Dude was shambling. I'm like, what kind of a sign is that? They got moose and zombies in these woods? But then when you got slightly closer, it was revealed he had little sticks in his hands. He was a hiker. He was hiking, which is what that weird pose was. But I'd never seen a hiker sign like that in my life. And I don't know why they had him in that bizarre pose. So it was it's pretty odd. She's trying to find the sign now.
We're gonna find this. But so that was freaky, and I do struggle with anxiety. So for me, none of this was good. I think I did fairly good keeping it together though. He was driving, so that was good. But also I'm like kind of weird that like, yes, I don't want to drive in that because that would freak me out. But I also, because anxiety is the way it is, it like gives me this kind of like control, like need to have control of the situation. So then I also am not super comfortable being the passenger in that situation. So there's like no winning scenario, but it actually was not so bad. And I took a chill pill literally, and that helped a lot. I think you will agree.
Yes, she has as needed prescription anxiety medication that she can take when she's not doing well. It's not like she popped a Xanny or anything.
No, I did not pop a Xanny. I have prescribed medication because I am clinical. But
She's diagnosed, unlike you other individuals out there.
But no, that was good. And then we got up there and there were so many stars and it was so pretty, and then we were dead tired, so we went to sleep. We slept in, and the next day we went fishing. We went kayaking and fishing. That was fine.
It was fun, not just fine. It was
Yes, and we went out to dinner that night, which was really nice. We went to dinner, we had fun that night, and then the next morning I got up a little bit early just to see the sunrise because my parents were always saying that they do that, but I guess the alarm I set was a little bit later than
fun.
it
You're
should have
skipping
been.
a couple of things as well. We went to the little country store at the end of the road. That was on Saturday.
Okay, you can talk about that, I guess.
We went. The only store that's like anywhere nearby. For example, you said we went to dinner, but you glossed over that. The only restaurants or stores that are nearby are the one country store that I'm talking about at the end of the road, and then the one restaurant at the other end of the road. Those are both within, like, closer than, or the store is within 5 minutes, the other one's within 10. Nothing else is closer than that outside of, like, a 30-minute drive in any direction. The little store we went to had a lot more in it than I was expecting. I thought it was, like, a small 7-Eleven or something like that. But they had a diner on the inside. They were making burgers. I literally saw them with the meat grinder or whatever, and it comes out in little strings. They make the patties. I saw one of the women back there doing that. They had that's where we got the red hot dogs.
Yep.
Bought a big old pack of them old red snappers.
Yes.
They had alcohol. They had like pre-made sandwiches that you might get at like a convenience store in a little fridge.
Yeah.
They had quite a wide selection. So I had a few worries about what we might like eat or do for food or anything like that. Like, oh, well, what if we need this, right? Will we be able to get it at the little store? And the answer is yes. They had pretty much everything that you might have needed. We went to a restaurant that overlooked the lake.
Yeah.
It was lovely. Had a really good view.
It was really nice. The poutine was good. If you don't know what poutine is, it's like a French Canadian thing. And up there, it's basically
It's just like fries with cheese, right?
it's fries with gravy, and traditionally, I think it's cheese curds, but sometimes they just use like normal cheese or like string cheese. I mostly like it for the gravy on the fries. I think that's the best part to me.
True.
'Cause I don't really care so much about the cheese on it, which is weird because normally I really like cheese, but actually I think it's just like the combo of the fries and gravy is really good.
I think it does. Like they might have had it with the cheese curds.
Nope, they didn't.
They
It was
didn't?
extra for the curds.
Oh.
I saw on the thing.
I don't even know if I really know what a cheese curd is.
I had one when my school was doing that volunteering day and we washed the windows of a cheese place. They gave us cheese curds. And plus the I think the one at the ice castles in New Hampshire, the poutine we had there had cheese curds in it. It's just like
It's
these
like
little
little
balls
chunks,
of,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was really good. And I just had like chicken fingers with that. He had pizza, and we got steamers.
It was kind of a weird palate that night. We got there, I ordered a beer and she got some fancy drink. I actually took a picture of it and sent it to my parents because my beer was pink and her fancy drink was blue and came in a Patriots cup. So I put them next to each other and I was like, "Hey mom, guess which one belongs to who?" And she's like, "Well, obviously the blue one's yours, knucklehead." And I'm like, you fell for the classic blunder.
Yeah, because yours wasn't. It was a cider. I mean, it's beer, but it's a cider.
Yeah, it was a cider.
It was like a blackberry cider. It was really good. That was like the best cider I've ever had. Other than maybe
the blueberry one, maybe at the apple picking place.
There wasn't a blueberry. There was, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think the Macintosh one the best there. But actually, I still think the blackberry one we had was better. But like that would be a close second.
Oh, the blueberry one I'm thinking of was when we went to the Wolfstock. We did a thing this past summer.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it'll probably come back this year. I would hope.
I think it's in July. It's in Kennebunk.
It's literally just a bunch of like food trucks and people with little tents and booths with beer because most of them come from breweries and they bring samples and then you bring your dog. So there's just a ton of. We don't have a dog.
It was nice to see other people's dogs.
And I do drink beer.
And they had food trucks, and I love food trucks. That's one thing to know about me. If I see a food truck, I'm gonna want to get food from there. There's something so alluring about a food truck.
But yeah, the palette that night was odd because we had the odd colored drinks. And then we got steamers, which for those uninitiated, from not from New England, I guess. I don't know if they call them that anywhere else. They're just steamed clams, right? I think you just boil them or something. They're so good, and it comes with melted butter. I love them. Which is okay. Now we're on seafood, but then I chose not to get seafood, and so did she. So I got just a pepper. I'm going to complain a little bit here. I ordered pepperoni and olives on my pizza. They came out with pepperoni, and the woman goes, "Oh, they forgot your olives, didn't they?" Like, it's fine. I like pepperoni. It's fine. I'm too hungry to worry about it. So I just ate the pizza, but it was wrong. Okay, it was still good, but it was wrong.
And I just had chicken tenders. They were really good. Yeah. So that was fun, and then we had fun that night because we just kind of hung out, had a few drinks,
and yeah, watched movies and played
video games. Yeah.
Looked at the stars.
Yep. And then the next day, we I think that was when I got up. I tried to get up early to watch the sunrise, but I got up too late, so then it was just blinding.
My God, the sun. The house faces the water, and it faces to the east. So the sun comes up right over the water, and according to her parents, if you get up like right when the sun rises, it's more of a red color, and you can sort of look straight out at it. But then when the sun gets just a little higher up than that, which is when you were awake, the sun is now angled down at the water, and then it bounces in through the window, and that entire room is blinding. Like, you open the bedroom door, and your retinas just burn.
Because the bedroom got pretty dark, actually.
Right, the door was sealed very nicely.
But yeah, so that was interesting, and I just went back to bed because I took like a few pictures, and I was like, it's too bright out here, and also I'm still tired, so I went back to bed. I think we had some breakfast later on, and then
a relatively unpleasant time in the water. We went out in kayaks again.
Because keep in mind, the day before we had kayaked, it was great. I had gotten out pretty far, and I was starting to get worried when I was going back, because when you're like far out and then you have to row back in on your kayak, it feels like it takes forever, and it feels like you're not making any progress for most of the like trip back, that you start to get kind of scared. But it was nice out, it was sunny, and we had gone fishing, and it was just like completely normal, calm, like whatever. But the next day...
Yeah, so... The thing about the kayaks, it was funny too, is because I haven't kayaked in years until we went there. So, and I've got I brought too much stuff onto the kayak with me. I had a lunchbox that had like beers and beef jerky in it. I had the tackle box, and then I have the oar and my fishing rod. So I had a little bit too many things in my kayak with me, and I'm obviously just large, so I take up most of the space, and more space than you would in your kayak, for example. But we had a good time on Saturday, even though I was a little wobbly. I got used to it, and it was good. It was fun. So I'm ready to go on Sunday. We go out there, and as soon as we're in the water, her line is all tangled. So she's like, "Oh, I need your help. I can't fish with this." Right? Obviously. And it's hard when you're in the boat to be moving around all that much. It made more sense for me to row over to her. I grabbed the side of her boat and held us together with one arm, and then helped her work. I had a knife in my pocket to cut the line and just fix it. So we spend, 10 minutes fixing her line, getting it all untangled. No, less than that probably. And when you're fishing, you've got hooks, and the lure that she was using had multiple hooks. So it was a lot of, okay, cut the line, try to get it off myself. Oh, I'm stuck. And you spend a minute unsticking yourself. While also having to hold the boat. So that was a little stressful, but eventually we get her all set up. Well, unfortunately, in the span of time it took for us to get her all set up, get us both unhooked, and then disengage from each other, we had been blown a considerable distance away from the shore, way further out than we were on Saturday, definitely.
I think it was mostly somewhere.
I think it was further. But regardless, it was a ways. And in this span of time, some dark clouds had blown in, and the wind had really picked up. It went from a relatively calm water with a lot of other people out on boats to there was not a soul left on the lake. Except for us. And the wind was blowing hard enough that the waves were starting to have white tips. It was pretty strong. So now we're like, okay, screw fishing. We got to get back to shore. And that took some time, and I can row faster than her, but I was not going to row past her and leave her out there. So it was a lot of me like rowing up to where she was and then letting her go, and then rowing up to where she was and then letting her go because I wanted her to be in front of me. And talk about how it was for you.
It was not fun. It was really scary because the waves, and I don't think I'm the best kayaker. So sometimes my little thing and my arms are getting really tired because we had already done it the day before. Which, you know, it's like a workout. It really is. So my arms, it's not like they were super tired, but they were getting really tired, and I assumed that having kayak the day before didn't help. Just because, you know, it's like you're exercising. But anyways, the wind was blowing, the waves were really high. I was really worried about like getting tipped over, and then sometimes I would hit my own kayak, and then I would like jolt and like almost. It was scary, and it felt like we were making no progress like the day before, but probably even worse, especially because I was getting like really overwhelmed. I had gotten my fishing, like the hook stuck like somewhere behind me.
Yeah, it was stuck to her back, but she had a life jacket on, so she couldn't like feel that it was stuck to her. But I was like, "Oh, you're all stuck," and I was like, I don't think it would make sense for me to come over there and fix that right now. You just need to row."
Yeah, and he told me to like just take it out, and I was like, "There's no way I'm doing that right now. I will like tip over if I try and mess around too much." So I just like had to leave it there and then like still try and row, and it was just the worst thing ever, and I was so scared.
And while all this is going on, my hat blew away. The hat that I got is a gift from a friend of mine who lives in South Africa. Last time he was in the U.S., he gave me this green hat, and it blew away while we were rowing back in, and I'm so upset. Like, I wanted to turn around and get it, but it was already in the water, and it was already several feet behind me, and all this other stuff was going on. I was like, it just doesn't make any sense. I need to keep rowing. And now it's gone. And I'm going to see if I can maybe buy a new one online somewhere, but I think it was like a cricket hat, and it was probably a specific year. You know, like, how am I going to find a, 2019 South African cricket hat that's the specific one that it isn't on a sketchy website or some stupid price? It's going to be frustrating.
So it was a harrowing experience, to say the least. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. And not that we really could have, because the rest of the day it was still really windy, and like I feel like it got worse after. So it was a good thing we didn't try and stick it out. It's a good thing we went in, because I don't think it got any better.
No, yeah, it probably stayed bad, if not got worse, because we went back inside, cleaned up a little bit, and then we got in the car, and we actually drove across the border into Canada. And there was an ice cream shop there that we wanted to go to. It was the closest ice cream parlor was in Canada. Go figure. And first of all, I've never been to Canada before. It was fun. We have a friend and a longtime viewer who lives in Canada, and I kept sending her memes that I was like, I'm gonna come attack her or something. And she's like, "You're not even close to me." And I was like, "That's what you think."
Yes, we did go get ice cream in Canada, which I didn't realize, because, if you're up at the tip of Maine, the part of Canada that's close is New Brunswick, and I knew that there was definitely people who spoke French up there, but I didn't realize it was like, I think up there French is more common than English. I mean, everything was in both, but the ice cream shop we went to, the shirts they wore and like the signs that said all the prices and stuff were in French. The like flavors were in English, which was kind of interesting, at least like on the
the tubs.
Yeah. But then the flavors and those names of everything on the signs were in French, and most people that were there were speaking in French, and I know a little French, but not enough to order ice cream, because that's not where I'm at Duolingo yet. So I was just like, okay, and like obviously they speak English, so we had just spoken English and it was fine. But yeah, it was kind of funny, huh?
Yeah, it was a lot more French than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be more of a French as a second language thing, but it was more of an English as a second language area, which was interesting. The ice cream was good. We took a couple of pictures there. It was fun crossing the border. We brought our passports, obviously, because there was a checkpoint there. The guys at the checkpoint, going both ways, by the way, were playing 20 questions with us. They were asking me questions like, how do you know her? What are her parents' names? Like, they thought I kidnapped her or something.
I swear, and I mean, maybe it's because I guess the last time I went, like, out of the country, I guess technically was when I was still a teenager, so they probably don't ask you as many questions if you're traveling with your parents as a teenager. But I swear, I was like, when I went to Europe, I got asked less questions by the customs in the airport than I did now.
Yeah.
So that was crazy, and it was, like, very weird. They were, like, very... Like, I was like, I feel like I did something wrong.
Yeah,
They're so, like, harsh with it, and, like, they asked you such serious questions, you're like, oh my god. And there was I think there might be some weird stuff happening at the border, like, perhaps criminal activity.
There's a lot of cops.
Because there was a lot of cops, and then when we were leaving to go back home on Monday, we got to... Holton is where the highway stops, and well, I think it goes like east into Canada. It doesn't keep going north though. So obviously, if you
East
look
into
at
Canada.
Yeah, like it goes because part of Canada comes down.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like it's like a little diamond or something, and it comes in here. So Holton is like here, and then if you went up here, this is where we go. But if you go this, you hit Canada on 95. And so obviously there must be like a customs border there because the road keeps going. I saw it on maps. And that was like the way north from Holton, like if you're continuing on I-95, was like all blocked off.
Yeah, there's a lot
They
of
had like a
cops.
police officer. But so I thought it was a police officer, which I guess like maybe technically, but then I looked and it was not a normal police car. It had something written on the side of it that I assume said like U.S. Customs or like blah, blah, blah. The thing that deals with like the border stuff. So I think there's some shenanigans happening perhaps, and that's why they were like so harsh about it. Because realistically, why would you like we have American passports like, but both ways they were like, I was like, geez.
Yeah.
And you have a main plate on your thing, so it's not like we're like from some random place.
Yeah, and the guy was like, "Where do you live?" And I told him where I lived. He goes, "You drove all the way up here from there." I'm like,
For ice cream, because he said what we did.
he's like,
over
"What are you
there.
doing? And where do you live?" I'm like, "We're going to get ice cream, and I live in the southern portion of Maine." And he was like, "You drove all the way up here for ice cream?" I'm like, "No, we're at a lake house. You didn't ask me where I'm coming from. You asked me where I live." Okay, because my passport says Connecticut. Your passport doesn't say where you live either. It says where you were born. So my passport says Connecticut. He asked me where I live, which is southern Maine, and then he asked me where I'm going, which is Canada. Obviously, the three of those things don't make any sense together, but that's his fault for not asking where I'm coming from, all right? And then he gave me a weird look. And I've seen people say that like border, like at like people crossing the border are like racially profiling or whatever. I don't know, bro. I think they're just like that to everybody.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was doing something wrong, and I obviously wasn't. But that's just how they are, I guess. They're like that to everybody.
So it was kind of scary. I mean, not scary because like obviously we weren't doing anything wrong, but I was like, dang, like I hate the way it's in school how I used to, you know, when the teacher would like yell at people in the class and she would kind of yell at the whole class, but obviously it only applied to some kids. But like when they would do that, I would always feel like I did
They're
something
like, you
wrong.
guys need to behave better.
Even though I was not doing anything wrong. That's like how it feels like.
Yeah. They're like, you bringing anything illegal into this country? I don't think so.
So if you're trying to go to Canada, apparently watch out.
Keep your nose clean.
I don't know. Maybe something's going on that I'm not aware of, that there's some shenanigans, illegal shenanigans, but they were pretty serious over there, so. Which sucks, because you used to be able to go across without even having your passport. And my dad was telling us, because he grew up there, that they would just, like, walk across the bridge.
In the 70s.
Yes. So, that was that. And then we roasted weenies that night.
Yes, the weenies that we had bought from the country store. That's what we had for dinner, and it was funny actually, on Thursday, or maybe it was a Friday, but before we went up, we bought stuff for s'mores, because we knew there was a fire pit, we knew we wanted to do s'mores. Her mom was like, oh, we bought you some s'mores stuff too, and we were like, Thank you.
Yeah, right. It's like I'm not gonna be like, oh, we already have some, so we just took it and we're like, thank you. But it was
An excess of s'mores because there's only two of us anyway. We buy a box of graham crackers, a bag of marshmallows, and a pack of chocolates. You're not going to use all those marshmallows anyway. So then having even a second bag of marshmallows, now you have way too many marshmallows.
yeah. So that was pretty much our trip. It was pretty good overall. Some weird things happened and some harrowing experiences, but we're alive, so
that was
that's
a good time.
Good. Do it again sometime maybe.
Yeah, we went up for 3 days. Well, traveled on Friday, were there Saturday, Sunday, and then traveled on Monday.
Yeah.
So, 2 days of actual vacationing. So that was this past week.
That was this past week, and then just been kind of doing work and stuff, and I've been playing Hades. I had to get my license renewed yesterday, and funny enough, you think of the place where you go to get your license as the DMV, but for some reason in Maine it's the BMV because it's like the Bureau instead of department. Yeah. I don't know what the technicality is there that it's a BMV instead of DMV. But anyways, I had to go to the BMV to get my license renewed. And my mom had asked me yesterday, she's like, did you get your thing okay? And I was like, yeah, I had a fine time, but I swear everyone that was in line ahead of me, because I was like sitting pretty close to the little booths where they like help you, so I could hear, and it's like an open room, and people talk fairly loud, so I could hear pretty much everything that was going on, at least at the ones that were like closer to me. And I swear everyone else that came to get their license renewed or for whatever other reason they were there, was having a rough go of it. Like there was this one kid from South Carolina that I guess lost his wallet, and he was trying to get his new license, but they were like, your old license was South Carolina, so we need your like history. We would either need your South Carolina license, which he lost because he lost his wallet, or a letter from like the South Carolina DMV giving like a history of your record basically to give you a Maine license.
It's such a pain, and like I understand that they don't want you to just walk up like, let's say I'm Canadian, right? And I can't just walk up and be like, oh, I lost my wallet, I need a Maine license. And now I just have a Maine license and I have a new identity or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I get that you need to have a paper trail, but geez, like assuming this kid's telling the truth, right? Because he probably is, why wouldn't he be? That's such a pain.
Yeah, he was saying that too. He was like, he was like, so I'm just like not gonna get to have a license for like however long this takes, like weeks. And they were like, yeah, sorry, because they need like a letter from the South Carolina thing. And he was just like, you could tell he was upset. Like he didn't want to be annoying, because like who wants to be? But also
some people definitely want to.
Well, yes, but I could tell he was like not trying to like be a Karen kind of thing.
Scene, yeah.
But he was also very upset, and he was like, this is so stupid. And I was like, oof, that is rough. And then some other people came through and like either didn't have the papers they needed or this, that, and the other. I was like, people are having a rough go of it at the BMV today. So I was pretty nervous by the time I got up there, because I was like, I looked on the website, I saw what I need, and I brought everything, but like, God forbid they decide I need something else that I don't have.
Dealing with any of those state or government like bureaus, departments, anything like that, going to get your license, going to get I had to register my car when we moved in, and I had to get a Maine license plates. All of that was such a pain. It didn't even it feels like it's something that shouldn't be such a hassle, but it is. It's very extremely annoying. And doing that, like getting your driver's test, doing your driver's license, anything involving your license, really. That's everybody always talks about. Oh, the DMV, hate it. Me too.
Yeah. Although I wasn't there too long. Not more than an hour. I was ready to. People were acting like it was gonna take like hours. So because I went like in the middle of the day, it was Friday. I figured like they might be busy, and there was a good amount of people there, but it didn't take that long for me. So that was good at least. So. That was yesterday that I did that, so in a few weeks I should have my new license.
Nice. And then you came home, I got home from work, we had some Chinese food, it was a thunderstorm.
Yep. So it was a pretty good time.
I had put the AC in yesterday because it was so hot. It was like 90 yesterday. I got home, she's cooking dinner, which by the way, she got no windows open, the fan isn't on, and she's like, I'm dying in here. I'm like, I can see. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just go put the AC in. And I did, and oh my god.
It's so nice.
It's so nice.
I'm such an AC girly. It's not even funny.
Sleeping in the AC is like peak slumber.
Yeah.
It might be, it's probably tied for me with, POV. It's late December and it's like snowing out and I've got the window open a little bit and you can hear the wind and all that cold air blows on you. Now that's great. That's what the AC is like.
Yeah.
Peak sleep.
I think we should move on because we spent a lot of time on just what we did the past week. So,
we were gone. The people need to know.
The people do need to know, but I'm cutting it short because I've got things to say.
Got plans that the haters sabotage. Let me get some more coffee.
This is the haters sabotaging me, for real, for real. So, like a week or two ago, I was scrolling through the TikToks.
That's our first mistake.
Yes. But I scrolled through, what?
Are you going to talk about...
Yes. So I'm this type of person, I do follow people on TikTok, but I just scroll through my For You page most of the time because I like to discover new things. And like sometimes, there will be accounts that don't make videos that often, but like they upload one video that turns into kind of like a meme that's like funny. And you wouldn't get that if you were only looking at your the people you follow. So I go on my For You page because I want to know what's going on. And people you follow still show up on your For You page, so I figure... if it's real good, it'll show up. Anyways, I'm scrolling through, and sometimes you'll see lives. So what do I see but this live of this girl with blonde hair, tan skin,
probably in Louisiana or
probably somewhere down south, cooking up some crawfish, like doing a crawfish boil thing. And she got a huge bowl of just live crawfish because it's like lobster, I assume, where you have to boil them alive, which like people freak out about. But we're not gonna get into that right now. Anyway,
they taste best if you keep them alive until you cook them, right?
So there's a bowl of crawfish, and she puts sunglasses on some of them, and they're all like crawling out, and they keep falling out, and like she's just like over there like dancing. She's got music playing. She's like dancing at the pot, and we're like, bro. And I swear that first night that we saw it, because he started looking over my shoulder.
I'm like, what are you watching?
And then he also got intrigued by the crawfish girl, and we're watching it, and we're just like waiting for her to boil a freaking crawfish.
We spent 20 minutes.
Huge pot. Yeah, we spent like 30 minutes just watching. She never did, and we're like, okay, fine. Well, when you watch a live once, or if you watch an account once, I think the algorithm says, oh, they like this, so they...
I bet she's going right now.
I mean, if I scrolled through right now, she probably is going. Like, I'd probably find her eventually. Because basically, what it is now is that every so often, I'll be on TikTok, after dinner or before dinner or something, and she'll pop up again now. And and I sent her into our friend group chat, and it's to the point where it's like a meme at this point to be like, oh my god, the crawfish girl is going right now. Especially because like one time it was like 11 p.m. at night, and I don't know, I think they might be an hour behind us wherever she is, because the other day she was saying like 6:30 was when she was probably gonna stop, when it was 7:30, almost 7:30 here, so she must be like an hour behind. So okay, maybe it was like 10:30, but like still, why are you still cooking crawfish at 10:30 at night? And by the way, she said that she might stop at 6:30 that night, but then later on at like 10:30, I got back on TikTok and I was scrolling through and I saw she was live again, or at least still.
This is like, it's what she does. It's like her 9 to 5 is, dancing around in her kitchen with crawfish, and she purposely goes really, really slow about it because she needs it to last 8 hours of people like us who just tune in for 20 minutes at a time or something like that. And then like I saw some guy in her comments, I don't use TikTok, so it's just over her shoulder with her having it open, and some guy was like, I've been here for over an hour, please cook one already, or something like that.
Yeah. And people will say like, oh, I've been here 4 hours, she never cooks them, but then she would like pull a cooked one out of the pot, so obviously she was boiling them at some point.
I'm seeing if I can find...
the bowl would get empty, like, if I was watching at 6, and then I get back on it, and I see it again at 9, and the bowl is, like, significantly different or emptier. Like, obviously she is doing something with them. I'm just gonna scroll through, see if she comes up. I could look her up, but it's not as fun.
It is a lot more fun to have her just appear. There was, I think my sister sent it in the group chat, it was that girl, the crawfish girl, on some TikTok talk show, which is being extremely generous, but She said that the crawfish girl had like 400 million interactions last year or something like that, which is more than the entire population of the US. That means that every person in America stopped and looked at her videos, basically, at least once that year. You know, proportionally, of course. Which means
Obviously they didn't.
that
It's
she...
just some people did it multiple times.
Right, which means that she makes a ridiculous amount of money doing this. And I think she still lives with her
She
parents.
must be having so many of those.
Right, if they're... I can't imagine they are like 1-for-1 of the lobster, but the general price range is probably similar to a lobster. And, okay, here we go. Let's see. The live that was sent in the group chat days ago is over, and you can't just click on the link. But I can... do I even want to say her name?
Yeah.
Shout out to @MadisonNMG on Instagram.
Oh, no, wait, here we go. On TikTok, it's I'm Madison with like 3 N's at the end. And she's not live right now, actually.
Oh my god, maybe she takes Saturdays off.
Maybe. Anyways, shout out, formal invitation if you'd like to hop on Real Breakfast Hours.
Hop on Real
with
Breakfast
us.
Hours. Tell us some secrets on how to cook crawfish. We're big fans.
We're big fans to the point where it's such a meme, and like I just love that sometimes other people in our group chat will send her now.
I love stuff like that. I love having a group of friends that it's basically an inside joke, but an inside joke between like me and her is funny, right? But if you have, 6 or 7 people who are all in on the joke, like that's hilarious. That's how I have like a group chat with some of my other friends who like we all play Yu-Gi-Oh together. My favorite deck is called Ultra Athletes, and the main monster card that I use in it is called Dunker. And we just make memes where people will edit Dunker in on these memes. Like Dunker represents me, and like everybody's favorite card represents them, basically. And somebody who wasn't me made one of Dunker slam dunking a basketball, but they put somebody else's monster as the basketball. But the point is, I'm not even the only person who makes Dunker jokes in that group chat. It's just like something you do there. Same with the crawfish girl in the other group chat is like, we don't have to reference her. Somebody else could be like, I think my sister sent like a really like sexy crawfish in the group chat the other day. Like it was a crawfish with heels on or something.
I don't remember that.
I could find it if you want.
But sometimes they'll send the link to her thing I've seen that they're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not good, but
So, crawfish boil grill.
shout out. Collaborate with us, please. It'd be so good.
I did also want to offer a slight addition to when I talked about Taylor Swift last week, just for a second, because I was like, I don't know, like, what he's done that's so bad, or, like, he makes, like, kind of, like, bad jokes.
Oh, her boyfriend?
Yeah, the guy that she's with, which, by the way, apparently, she said that she's, like, the happiest she's ever been in her whole life, and, like, all aspects of her life right now, which, like, ripped to her ex that she was just with for 6 years, if she's just saying that, like, a month or 2 after they broke up. But, yikes. But also, everyone still, like, hates the guy that she's with right now. Okay, so before, like, I don't think it's really good to be telling her, I mean, altogether, I don't think you can tell her, like, who to date, but the, like, bad jokes is, like, yeah, it's, like, a red flag, kind of, and it's, like, not great, but it's, like, not the end of the world. But something that actually I do think is maybe not that good is apparently a few years ago, there was a interview that he did where someone had asked if he was dating Taylor Swift basically back then, or like if he would date her or something, and he literally said like, no, I would never date her, that would feel so emasculating to me. But now you're dating her? So that is a big red flag. I would not date a guy who said that about me in an interview. That's a bad look.
How is it emasculating? Is it because she's rich?
Probably, because she's so, like, big and powerful.
She's more famous than he is. Like, I don't even know who he is.
I mean, he's in that. The 1975 is absolutely much less popular than Taylor Swift is. And especially, like, that's a band. So any one person in the band might not be as popular as someone who's like the solo person like Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift is just so huge.
Right. Ringo Starr is not the Beatles.
Yeah.
Though obviously you are famous if you're part of a group like that, but the 1975 ain't the Beatles.
1975 is popular, but it's a pretty big difference between the 1975 and Taylor Swift. It's like, I mean, he's one of the most popular pop artists. So, right now and for a while.
Yeah, she's pretty big. I do definitely think that was a weird thing for somebody to say. Maybe he changed his mind. Hopefully, I would assume, right? If he still believed it was emasculating to be dating her, I don't think he'd be dating her.
Yeah, but still, like, I don't think I would date someone. So I like get that part of it, but obviously it must not bother her that much if she's doing it. But like I said, I still think it's kind of a rebound thing, anyways. If you were to ask me personally,
I agree, because I don't know how you could possibly date somebody for 6 years and then break up with them and pretty immediately get into this new relationship and say, "Oh, he makes me happier than I've ever been." No, girl, that's your rebound brain talking. That doesn't make any sense.
yeah. So I think that's mostly it for new stuff.
Yeah, do you want to do a Am I the Asshole real quick to wrap up?
Yeah. We were talking with his grandmother the other day. She really likes this part.
She said, "I don't like sports, but I love Am I the Asshole." She can never seem to remember the name of it. But
That's okay, though. Okay, so sometimes the names give it away or lead you to believe one way or the other, but this one seems so ambiguous that I feel like I don't know what's about to happen.
It's true. I feel like some people will make the name like, "Am I the asshole for being considerate?" And then the story is like, "My sister told me that she never wants to see me again, so I blinded her." Like, oh.
Yeah, or like, "Am I the asshole for beating my child?" And then it's like, he had a big spider on him.
so I slapped the spider, and my mom yelled at me. Like sometimes they really name them in a strange way, but this one is not that.
So this one is, "Am I the asshole for recording my uncle's drink request?" Seems
Harmless so far.
harmless and not really one way or the other. So, "My uncle thinks it's funny to get me to run back and forth between the pool and the kitchen getting him drinks. He will say he wants a Coke, then claim he asked for a beer, then ask where his Coke is. He usually blames it on us damn millennials always being on our phones and not paying attention. For whatever reason, my parents don't tell him to piss off. It started getting old a long time ago, and I usually dealt with it by making myself scarce when he is over. He was visiting over Memorial Day and he caught me. He asked for a Coke, so I brought him a Coke. Then he said he had asked for a beer. So I pulled out my phone and played the video I had recorded of him asking for a Coke. Like most of us damn millennials, I was on my phone when he asked, and I knew it was coming, so I recorded his request. He asked me for a beer because that's what he really wanted, so I told him I would be happy to get him a beer after he finished his drink, because unlike his boomer generation, I don't waste stuff for the fun of it. He got huffy because he was just joking around. The next time he asked me for a drink, my phone was in my pocket, so I pulled it out and said I didn't remember what he asked for. Could he please repeat himself? He said he would just get his own drinks. I told him that was a great idea. My parents think I was a jerk being rude to a guest and my elder. I thought I was just making sure he got what he asked for. Am I the asshole? Edit, he is actually a millennial and I am Gen Z, I guess. And yes, it is cultural as to why I'm expected to fetch him food and drinks.
I think this person is just taking a joke really poorly. And I really especially think that they are kind of the asshole, because they're like so clearly, "Oh, you're just a dumb boomer. I don't want to get you a drink," right? Even though they're like literally not a boomer. Like millennial, not even Gen X. So this person is probably 35 and they're calling them a boomer?
Guess, but like, I see that, like, that would be so annoying though if you had to get, like, I get it, it's funny the first few times, but if you're doing it every time you come over, yes. I get recording it to be like,
well, for the first time, definitely, right? It's like, "Oh, I got you, Uncle Paul," right? Like, but then like, "Oh, hold on, can you repeat yourself?" Like, that's a little bit much.
Maybe.
And then being this mad
But
about
if he
it?
had done it again, I would have kept doing it then. Because it's just like, just tell me what you want and let me get it for you. And then I don't want to go back and forth a bunch. Like, it's funny, like, the first few times, maybe. But it sounds like he does this at every gathering. So, like, yes, like, overreacting to a joke, but also, like, taking a joke too far. Like, it's not funny anymore.
A harmless joke. It's not like he's hurting him.
It is annoying though. I'm just trying to relax at my party, and you're making me get up and down. It'd be one thing if like he just had already drank his first drink and needed one, but he's like purposely being like, "Oh no, I wanted this," and you go back and get that, and he's like, "Oh haha, no, I wanted the first thing." Like that's just annoying.
I definitely think that they're. I certainly wouldn't call the uncle an asshole. Maybe he's just like telling jokes that are obviously not being appreciated, which is fine, right? Jokes can be annoying. But I do think this person has a really bad attitude about it.
I don't know. I kind of see it.
I wouldn't call either of the people
I
in
don't
this
think
scenario an
they're
asshole.
the asshole. I do think the uncle sounds annoying though.
People are calling the uncle a gaslighter. Bro, he's joking around. This is what I'm talking about. These people are so fragile. Your uncle's literally gaslighting you. It's not even cute if he was 10. Like, bro, relax.
Oh my god.
Hey, can you get me a Coke? Oh, what was this? I was asking for a beer. Clearly, to me, he's just making a joke. Even if you don't like the joke, hit him with, like, you gotta punch back a little bit sometimes, right? So guess what? I recorded you. Got you. I knew you wanted a beer. This scenario could have gone so differently if the person posting it had just, like, had a little fun with it.
Right.
But instead, they're like, oh, I'm gonna post on Reddit about how my uncle is gaslighting me. Like, bro, relax.
To be fair, they didn't say that. The comments did, but I mean, that's the thing. It's like you gotta be careful on the comments on Reddit.
Anywhere
Reddit
online,
is so
really.
interesting because on like certain threads, you'll find the most useful information you've ever seen. Because like half the time you look stuff up on the internet, and all the results you get are like advertisements, and they're not good. So if you put Reddit, then you'll find like what you're actually looking for. But then other times, if you're on like Am I the Asshole? Some of the people in the comments are just wild. Now I got 3 options for you that all sound very juicy, so I'm gonna let you read the titles and pick one, okay?
Okay. Starting at the top there?
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for stealing my sister's thunder at her engagement party? Wow.
This one's not good.
Am I the asshole for telling my friend that I didn't like her wedding dress? Would I be the asshole if I charged my sister with a felony? We gotta do that one.
Okay. You wanna read this one?
Sure.
Can you see it okay?
Would I be the asshole if I charged my sister with a felony? I had a small grant come in the mail for about $3,500. I had never received it and became confused and where the check was at. The college finance department told me it was cashed back in April on the name of the bank. Some time passed and I ended up finding out my sister wrote down my social security number on the back of the check, forged my signature, and told the banker I allowed her to cash the check, never needing to provide an ID either. The banker allowed it and my sister never said a word. She was arrested recently, so now my mom and grandma are saying she'll be in serious trouble if I don't drop the charges and that I shouldn't do that to my sister. Would I be an asshole if I charged her and made her go to prison? Edit. I didn't think my post was going to get any more attention than 100 people or so, lol. My sister and I do not get along. We haven't for a while. A few weeks before this, my grandma had a few $1,000s stolen from her pocket that she had just taken out of her bank account and might have fell out or it was snagged from her pants. She doesn't believe in bank cards and refuses to use them. So that's over $6,000 in a month. My sister stays in a room at my grandma's crib. So, who could it be? Come on, bruh. That's bad.
Sounds like your sister is a little criminal.
I think it's messed up how... So, family first is like a pretty good like saying, I think, right? I love my family. I'd do anything with my family. But there's got to be a line somewhere. This person steals multiple thousands of dollars from her family members and then gets arrested and oh, don't charge her. Don't send her to jail. Is she going to pay me back?
Yeah, I feel like the types of parents that would say this, like her mom is like, oh, don't charge her, don't make her go to jail, is like probably why the sister is like this to begin with, because obviously you don't give her any consequences or something.
I do wonder if there has ever been, is this the first time that the sister has received consequences, right? Has she ever been arrested before? Because it's possible, being generous, that, this is the first time she's ever gotten in trouble for this type of behavior. She gets arrested, slap on the wrist, she'll pay you back. It never happens again, right? That's like the wishful thinking probably that the mom is experiencing here. But on the flip side, it's possible that this is like a chronic behavior and that this person has been arrested or gotten in trouble for this type of thing before and just has never learned. So, like, you're right. I wouldn't like to be the sibling that sent my sister to federal prison, right? But at the same time, this person is committing federal crimes. Like, what? I don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like it's just really messed up to steal from your sister and then also your grandmother, who I assume is probably not working. I mean, maybe she is, but, like, that's elder abuse.
You know, in Maine, they take elder abuse
They
very
do
seriously.
take it very seriously because we have a lot of old people. So sometimes you'll see, like, people with bumper stickers that say no excuse for elder abuse. And, like, sometimes there's commercials on TV. So glad you're not in Maine because you'd be getting yelled.
Some serious elder abuse
Serious
in the state of
elder
Maine, right?
Let's see what people say. Yeah, people are, I think, mostly saying that this person would not be the asshole.
So yeah, I feel like I want to say not the asshole. I completely get the apprehension though, because I personally would feel extremely bad, and it's a really hard situation to be in. But like, if it was not a relative, right? Obviously, you've got to press charges on this person. But it's your own flesh and blood. Do you want to be like? It's not that it's unfair to send them to jail because they've committed a crime. They go to jail for those things, right? But it's going to weigh heavy on your own conscience that you have sent your sister to jail.
That's true. But that's a lot of money to be stealing. I mean, it's not like they stole $20, right? That's multiple thousands of dollars, and it is interfering with your college education by the sounds of it.
The school ain't gonna give you that $3,000 again.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get
Like,
that back
imagine
from the
if-
or the bank. You should sue
I don't
the
know
bank.
how she ended up paying for that other, like, I don't know if she had to take out a loan or if she just had money that she was able to still afford it, but, like, imagine if that $3,000 had been the difference between her being able to go to school that year and not.
Yeah.
You know? That would be really messed up. So, don't be stealing.
Don't be stealing. There's a voting guide on the side here. This is another like complaint about Redditors in general, is I don't like the way some of the people use these, but there's like, you're the asshole, you would be the asshole, not the asshole, you would not be the asshole, everyone sucks here, no assholes here, and not enough info. I doubt that no assholes here ever gets used.
Yeah, probably not. I guess that other one we did would probably be
Well,
no
but like
assholes.
I would put no assholes here, but I would find that hard.
Oh, you mean like that the overall...
Yeah, go. Let's
like
look in the
the
comments of the first one. Yeah. How many people in the comments are saying no assholes here?
Well, I think most people are just saying not the asshole.
Your uncle sounds insufferable. These people clearly just don't have an uncle. These are fun. Redditors are weird. And it's crazy what some people will do and then like expect not to get in trouble for it.
I want one of these. This is the last one. But these were all so juicy.
Oh my god, this one's long.
Just the edits. That's fine. Am I the asshole for telling my friend that I didn't like her wedding dress? 3 months ago, I, 26 female, attended 27 females' wedding. Her wedding was a destination wedding at a beach venue. When she arrived, she was wearing a poofy, bright red dress, the kind you'll see celebrities wearing at the Met Gala. It was very unique, and she stood out beautifully, but in my opinion, the dress didn't flatter her, nor the venue, and I personally didn't like it. But I wasn't going to be the person to tell her that on her wedding day and ruin the night for her, so the rest of the day was very fun, and I had an incredible time with her and all our other friends. My opinion of her dress I kept to myself because I dislike talking behind people's backs, and it isn't my place to tell her what she shouldn't have worn. After all, it was her wedding day, and she should wear something she feels amazing in, and I noticed that she had an amazing, confident aura wearing that dress, and I felt amazing for her. Yesterday, she came to my house to watch a movie with me. Before we started watching, she talked about how her parents told her that her wedding dress didn't look good and that she should have worn a white, simple dress. They are a very traditional type. Then she asked me what I honestly thought about her wedding dress, and most respectfully, I told her that while I thought that the dress made her stand out amazingly and was very unique, in my personal opinion, I wasn't very fond of it and that it did not flatter her. She was quiet for a second, then she got up and left. Even though I tried explaining to her that I didn't mean to offend her or insult her, she left in the end. I tried messaging her, but I got no response. Today, her husband messaged me saying that she cried for hours after I met with her, that I was very disrespectful, and that I had no place to criticize her dress. One of her best friends sent me a long message about how while he agrees with me, I didn't have to tell her that because it isn't our place, and that I came across as jealous and pathetic. I don't know what to do or say, and I'm having trouble even contemplating whether I was wrong, so what do you think? Am I the asshole? Edit, someone told me to add this comment and reply to my post. At first I told her that she stood out and looked confident and left it at that. But then she asked me, I didn't ask you if I looked confident or unique. I asked you what you thought about the dress. I didn't want to lie to her since we've always had a very blunt relationship. She's always told me the blunt truth. But keeping in mind that it was obviously a really big day for her, I tried to be kind and sensitive about my honest opinion. But I see that I may have been too rude and not considerate of her feelings. Thank you for your comment. I try to make things right with her I'll try to make things right with her if she will give me another chance. But also, guys, seriously, thank you so much.
Don't read that one yet.
Oh, okay.
I want to say this right now. You are not the asshole. She asked you for your opinion days after the event, and you said, I thought you looked like I thought you were killing it, but I didn't really think the dress looked that good. Like, she asked you for that. I understand. Like, people sometimes will ask you for things and not actually want to hear the answer. That's on them.
Yeah. Also, this one seems important because a lot of people hate if you wear like a black wedding dress or a red wedding dress or anything that's not white, because in our culture it's very traditional to wear a white dress. This says her in-laws had wanted her to wear red because in their culture the brides wear red. She didn't want the traditional dress, but they came to a conclusion to at least let the dress be red. So... And she said that when I said it wasn't flattering on her, I meant that the dress didn't match her height and some parts were loose. Not that she and her body was the problem, but more that the dress didn't perfectly fit her. That is what I told her, but I didn't want to go into detail about her in the post, which is why I only said it didn't flatter her. So it sounds like it was not the color and maybe that it just wasn't fitted well, which I can understand. And obviously it sounds like she wasn't hating her for wearing a red dress, and it makes sense why she would be wearing one, even though it's not traditional for our culture. Apparently her in-laws, that is their traditional culture, and it was more of a, I guess, like a compromise kind of thing. So I think probably not the asshole, like you said. Yeah,
like it's not fair.
Not the asshole, sorry.
Yeah, it's not fair to say, hey, what did you think of my outfit yesterday? I got some bad opinions on it. I didn't really like it either. And then, like, you storm out, and then everybody starts yelling at you for giving your opinion that they literally asked you for. And then, read this.
Okay. So, another part of that first or second edit I said, but it says, but also, guys, seriously, thank you so much for actually making me realize I was definitely in the wrong. I didn't really think it through many times in my head and just said what I was truthfully feeling, and I understand how wrong it was, especially since it was about something she couldn't change, which I guess is true. She's like, it's already past that, so it is definitely tricky. I would maybe say that, like, I don't know. Anyways, I'll read the rest of this before I say my opinion. But I've seen a lot of people saying I could have said something before her wedding, but I wasn't one of her bridesmaids, and she said she wanted to keep everything a surprise. Also, we've always had a very honest and blunt kind of relationship, and she's always told me that she dislikes white lies, and if someone asks you something, you should always answer it truthfully. This is the woman who told me and my boyfriend of 2 years to break up to our faces because she thought that we weren't compatible for each other since he traveled a lot for his work, and although I was upset, looking back, I realized that relationship was absolutely going nowhere. This is why I disagree with the comments that say I should have just lied. I honestly cannot lie to her, and lying about something would make me feel guilty, but I completely take responsibility for talking about the negatives when I should have only spoken about the honest positives. I messaged her if I could meet up with her, and she replied saying she was thinking of that too. We're meeting each other in a few hours, and I'll try to apologize to her and tell her that it didn't matter what I or her parents thought of her dress. If she felt amazing and confident in it, then that was the perfect dress for her. Thank you for everything. I'll show her this post, and we'll update after I met with her.
The Redditors told her she was the asshole and made her believe she was the asshole and is now apologizing for it.
I mean, I would apologize for hurting her feelings, and maybe, because we don't know what she said exactly, okay? So
we can only take what she said.
Maybe she was a little bit harsher than she needed to. It doesn't sound like it, but, like, maybe she did, and maybe she should have just kept it at a little, like, it wasn't my type of dress that I would like, but you looked good, or something like that.
Oh, but she said she doesn't think she looked good. She said that she looked like she really enjoyed wearing that dress.
Yeah. Well, you know, at the end of the day, it is true that she can't change what she wore at her wedding dress now, so it is one of those things where you wouldn't want to be too, like, yes, she asked for you to be honest, but you do have to try to be a little bit tactful about it, because you wouldn't want her to, like, now feel so awful about her wedding day that she can't change.
Yes, though, reading that edit, it sounds like the girl who asked for her opinion, the girl who got married, is a very blunt individual who is like that with everybody around her and then doesn't like it when people do it back to her.
Also a valid point. Yeah, because she did say that she liked to be honest all the time and she didn't like lies, so it's a tough situation. I don't know that her friend would ever have been happy with anything she said if she's that type of person. But at least it sounds like she's willing to talk to her again, so maybe they can just talk over it. Maybe they'll both apologize in a way, or maybe they'll just get over it and then keep being friends. I don't know, but I don't really think she's the asshole. I think it's probably one of those things where she could have gone about it a little bit better, but I don't think she was the asshole for what she did.
Yeah, I definitely don't think she's the asshole, and I think people, the Redditors, have been unfair to her.
Lots of interesting Am I the Asshole posts today. So thank you for watching. We
Subscribe.
should hopefully be able to, should be able to make something next weekend. It might be a little bit later than usual, but hopefully we can still film something either Saturday or Sunday and get it up maybe Monday. But yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to send us your breakfast. Oh my god, wait, did we have breakfast?
Oh my god, we almost forgot. I do, I think, I believe I have a few. Let me look.
We're out of practice, I guess. Okay.
This is from our boy Gren. Biscuits and gravy with applewood smoked bacon and some hash browns.
Sounds delicious.
Sounds very good. Thank you for your submission, Gren.
I don't have any, so my friends, looking at you, what the heck, send us your breakfast. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you for watching.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Send us your breakfast.
Bye.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Try to do it again.
Wow.